You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Oh, man, it's the Washington Commanders postgame show. The Washington Commanders fell to the San Francisco 49ers 37-20. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by co-host Glenn, and we have a special guest. We got Darian D.H. Williams. D.H. is the host of the Breaking Command podcast. Also, we got Big Doug from the Big Douglas Show. What's good, folks? How's everybody doing today?
Doing all right, man. The day before Christmas, can't be sad.
Glad it's over.
DH is rocking a sweet-ass hoodie or sweatshirt there. I'm thinking about copping this as soon as we're done here.
Get it. You got to get it.
The swag, and can we just say this? The new merch and the swag is nice for the Commanders. Maybe the best helmet in the league. That Matt W is fire.
At least we got that, right? We got swag.
Maybe I'm too old to say that thing's fire.
Hey,
Am I
Doug,
too old at 45 to call things fire?
Doug, we talked about
throw the flag on me.
We're around the same age, Doug. We can say stuff like that. We're good. We can say lit. We can say swag. We can say fire.
I got to double check like Terry at the line. I got to double check that I'm still good at 45.
Oh, man. But you know what? Before we get into this game, let me get into the particulars. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything and like our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channels as well. The red subscribe button, hit that, like this video as well. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with you, Doug, man. I mentioned the score. Your thoughts on the game, man?
I don't know. They were 1 for 11 last week, and they scored nothing. They got turnovers. I think we talked about this before we started here. They had the opportunity to score 17 points in the first half against a really, really good defense. And while we talked about this on Friday, they had opportunity to stretch the field. They did that. The Jahan Dotson drop on the first drive, brutal, right? And that's what they do. Penalties in bad situations. It's frustrating. I don't know. We talked about this, right? The offense works. They don't do it right. They had 4 chances at the 1 yard line, and they don't do it. And you want to be a run first team, so I don't know. You tell me.
Hey, DH, your thoughts, man, before I get into my whole thing.
I mean, I say this. Watching the games is very frustrating at times because you can see the inconsistencies with the play calling and with just some of the rhythm or lack thereof on the field. I feel like we leave too many opportunities out in the field, and you know it comes to bite you in the butt, for lack of better words. We can't afford to drop passes. We can't afford to not protect the football, and you can see it. It's just at the wrong times of the game, and we just. We give up the ball. And I think that's the one thing about us, even if we do get to the playoffs, are we even good enough to hang with some of these teams? You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, you gotta, if you really want to get in the playoffs, you got to correct some of these small issues now, the stupid penalties on some of these plays, and just the O-line is just, I mean, God, I've seen better Swiss cheese in the grocery store. Than I have in the school. I mean, good God.
And DH, I said that on Twitter just like a half hour ago. I was like, you know what? They really thought the offensive line was going to be something they could hang their hat on. We thought it. It's not that. They need a full O-line rebuild this offseason. And part of that, DH, is that they really, they draft Cosme in the second round. They expected him to play. I have never in my life seen a system where you rotate the right tackles and like it was 50-50 with I just didn't get it. I haven't seen it before.
The position flex narrative that Ron has done with the offensive line is not a good one. You can't have as a career O and defensive lineman, you can't have any rhythm and it coming in and out of plays. Now, certain situational things, big goal line plays, short yardage, you can add some guys. But your 5 should be your anchor 5 all game. It can't be a rotational thing when it comes to building continuity with your offensive line.
Hey, Glenn, your thoughts, man?
I want to hit DH where he was at, man. I think this team can compete with anybody in NFC East. They proved they could. They have competed with everybody in NFC East. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They competed here with San Francisco 49ers. As you mentioned, as Doug mentioned, they could have been up 17-0 if it wasn't for a big home run, a big run. So this team can compete. Also, DH, what you said was key, the inconsistencies of maintaining that, or the wrong time to gamble, as Ron did tonight, and things of that situation, and turnovers is what's stopping this team from being very successful. This team had the time of possession for a long time. So you just got to want a couple of those things that you got to do. The team had the time of possession. They did some things. Is this a bad loss for this team? I think no one really expected him to win this game anyway. I mean,
no, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. Not at all.
Oh, yeah. You ever said no?
Not at all.
Nobody expected him to win.
I was getting flack on Twitter for it.
I think it was Ray in our group chat or Moda group chat was surprised that the score was 7-7 at halftime.
Yeah.
But again, this team late in games, third quarter, I think third quarter, the defense came out flat, and San Francisco was able to hit some long passes down the field. And the secondary started getting torched a little bit in the second half. But again, we'll get into the rest of that. But I thought this team, the quarterback switch was needed. And I see where we go from here with Carson Wentz for the next 2 games.
All right, so here are my thoughts on this game. Pretty much, I thought they did their little game plan to stay in the game, which I expected. Taylor Heineke, I think, played his first half was solid. Thought it was actually probably his best first half I've ever seen him play in terms of being on time, making the right passes. Jahan Dotson had a mismatch. They had nothing to do with Jahan Dotson. You can tell they were focused on Scary Terry, and Jahan got to eat. But at the end of the day, like, it is who it is. Like, you're playing against a Kyle Shanahan offense. So there's things he can do to scheme you open. And I guess my issue was, I think you saw the importance of not having Cam Curl in this game, because Cam Curl typically I mentioned this on your show, your show, Doug, in terms of how important it was to have Cam Curl in this game, because he typically guards the team's tight end, the best tight end. That's what he does. He usually plays man on the tight end and does pretty well. And then you had that situation where, you had to have that player on Kittle, who just ate, or you have McCaffrey. And I thought Jamin Davis did a solid job on McCaffrey, but the issue was obviously Kittle. And I guess my issue with the Kittle situation was I didn't feel like they paid enough attention to him, regardless of even Defoe got beat on that play. Like, he is the main weapon. To me, it's McCaffrey, Kittle. I respect Randy Ayuk, but it's McCaffrey, Kittle. You got to pay attention to those two. Everybody else does not exist. I'll be okay if Jennings beat me. If Jennings beat me, that's fine. He's supposed to beat me. He's not supposed to beat me. But when you look at that scouting report, there's no way Kittle should have had that monster of a performance, knowing that how valuable he is to that offense with any quarterback.
But the thing, Wale, is that's you could span that back 3 defensive coordinators in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for whatever reason, this franchise, this team gives up big plays, big yards, lots of touchdowns to tight ends.
Yeah.
6 grabs for 120.
What are you about to say, DH?
6 grabs for 120 and 2 tutties. Like, bro, you have to account for that. First of all, you got to account for everybody that's eligible to catch a pass, right?
Of course.
Especially him, a Pro Bowl caliber player, a guy that's been balling for them for multiple weeks. You have to account for him. And it just seems like you said, Wally, that, McCaffrey and Kittle.
That's it.
Like you said, if somebody else burns me, okay, cool. I expect that. But I'm supposed to shut them 2 down because that's their guys.
Well, it was hard for them to do so, because when you throw Prudy into the mix, you have another quarterback. He's a mobile quarterback. They kept guys in. They kept guys inside. The tight end definitely was. You have a linebacker. When you have linebackers, outside backers, you're asking them to chip the tight end. You're asking the safety to come up, and the safety wouldn't be able to come up to get Kittle. Kittle was running open again. You said a DH 6 for 120. Washington. If you go back and watch Washington's defense, they basically was staying in the zone, and they couldn't account for the tight end. In the zone, there's a place for the tight end. They couldn't account for the tight end. There was nobody to man up the tight end. So when you play in zone, the tight end is going to get beat. Doug talked about for 6 years. Again, when you play that type of defense, tight ends are going to eat, because you want tight ends to beat you. In this case, tight end beat him today.
That's my issue is, like, you got to pay attention to him. I don't think Brock, to me, again, I wasn't like you can, and people can be all into the Brock Purdy, whatever his name is, like hype train. But like to me, I ain't doing anything special to me. These dudes are wide open. Kittle was wide open, like a busted plays. He ain't do nothing special. Like he was running down by himself. Matter of fact, there was 2 receivers. Even McLeod was open actually on that play. 2 receivers wide, 2 folks that wide open. He just threw. If he missed that pass, he'd be a bum. To be honest with you, if he missed that pass, he would be a bum. Like that's how open they were. I don't. To me, just make sure you pay attention. If I'm default on that play, why am I biting up when you see like no? I'm not biting.
Why do we bite up? Great.
Yeah, why are you biting up? Why are you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's no, you're right. He was the last man up. It's one of the things I wrote in my little notes here while I, still was paying attention. And it was like, why did he take? He took 4 steps and then bailed out in trap coverage, and it's just. Listen, I appreciate his physicality. They've been looking for a free safety. They use him back there in the back third. But on that play, I would love to hear him explain why you took 3 steps, because then you're getting smoked.
Yeah. Then you had to get back. And again, just look at the importance, the value of importance. Like
very simple.
Underneath.
Anytime you get a safety, my bad.
Go, Glenn. Go.
Anytime you get a safety who steps up, is very simple. Eyes in the backfield.
Yeah.
It is very simple. The answer to that question is very, very simple.
Or he guessed run and guessed wrong.
Yeah, and he guessed.
That's probably, I think, what happened there.
You probably guessed, and when you guess, you're wrong. And you get in the NFL. It's not high school football, college football, where you can guess and makes it, and sometimes get right. When you guess in the NFL, you get 6 put on the board, and that's what happened today.
Also, I'd love to know the number, and I haven't looked at it yet, of the rushes on first down. I'd love to know that number. It felt like they ran every time on first down. And I understand the concept of the game plan, but every time, too much.
I want to get something. Ray just hit us with a comment, but I don't know. Glenn put it out there too on our poll. Ray was talking about the short field, and there was a situation in the game where this team went for 4th and 1, key situation within their own territory. I'm gonna start with you, DH. Did you have an issue with them going forward on that play in the second half, knowing that where the game was?
I have an issue with the play call. I don't have an issue with them going for it. I mean, I feel like at this point, you got to play to win the ball game, right? And I think with a better play call, we're not having this discussion. You know what I mean? They get the first down.
What would be your play? What play would you be going for?
Turn around and hand it to B-Rob. Let him go over the top. Or even with quarterback sneaks, right? Every time I've seen good quarterback sneaks, I love when you get the snap and get high. Get over the top of the pile. He's already a short guy. You think he can burrow down. But the thing about it was the Commanders' offensive line have not did anything to show me that they can push them back. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna run the quarterback sneak, get up and get it over the top. If not, turn around and hand it to B-Rob. I wouldn't have no issues with that if you don't get it, because then it's just man on man, and that's tough. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you got to get the first down in that situation. Go for it, or even if you don't go with the quarterback sneak, I'll be okay with a jet, because I've seen jet sweeps work on 4th and short for all season. So a jet or something like that, or even if it's some movement with some play action, something to kind of get it going forward.
Hey, Doug, what about you? Okay. All right, maybe go to Glenn. Hey, Glenn, what about you? Your thoughts?
I don't like the play call. Not necessarily the play call. I don't like going for it on your own side of the football field.
Okay.
Especially on the 35-yard line. It was like the 35-yard. You don't go in that situation. Tressway's punting. Your defense is holding up. You're only down by 1 score, right? Don't push the panic button. Down by 1 score. Defense is playing well. You have one of the best punters in the league. Back them up, right? They only had that one long drive where they actually scored on, it was a one-hitter quitter, right? But at that time, you trust your defense in that situation to stop the San Francisco 49ers offense and give you the ball back, and you be down by 1 score again. So again, don't like that. If I had to go pick to the play call, no, I give it to the running back who's averaging 3.4 yards a carry or 5 yards a carry, right? I give it to Brian Robinson. I give it to a bigger guy. This is where Heineke's height come into an issue at, because you asking bigger quarterbacks like a Cam Newton can fall forward for 1 yard. Yeah, right. A Ben Roethlisberger can fall forward for 1 yard, right? So even a Carson Wentz can fall forward for 1 yard because of their height and because of their length. You had Heineke who couldn't do that. He has to go through the pile and drive that way. So that's why if you want asking your quarterback to drive for 1 yard or an inch, you give it to you give it to your running back and let him get the yard and do it that way. So didn't like the situation of going for it, but the play call I didn't like as well.
Glenn,
go ahead.
To your point, Glenn, the panic button, right? I feel like this whole game was a panic button. I feel like Ron and staff coming off that game last week felt like they needed to go out and really win this game and really attempt to win this game. So I felt like some of the decisions that were made were panic decisions, but that's why I didn't really. I was okay with it because I feel like they needed to go and try to win the game. They need to try to go solidify some things and get the team some confidence. Because if you come away with a W, you know the confidence of the team is sky high, and you've catapulted yourself into a playoff position with everybody else losing.
Yeah. I go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead.
No, I mean, when you talk about the panic button, I didn't have a problem with the panic button with the long drive, right? The 9-minute drive, because I figured if you go a 9-10 minute drive, you want to end pay dirt, right? And so that's not it's 0-0 at that point. So I have no problem with the pushing a panic button on first down. But I knew, as I said, Wole, I say it week after week, when this team only 52% in the red zone, it is a problem. You get what you can get, right? If you know you're 52% in the red zone and you just drove down the field on the 49ers, and here's a question: do you go? You want to go for the touchdown, which is great, but I also want the points on the board too because
on a third and one, on one. I mean, a fourth and goal from the one.
Right. You first and 5. It was first and 5 from the goal, and you didn't get in. You didn't get in. Now it's 4th and 1, and you don't get in. And so it's those type of things where this team, and also on the quarterback sneak, Heineke told Ron Rivera he wanted to go for it. If you go back to that play and look at it, Heineke was the one that said, let's go for it. Do you trust the quarterback? I guess you do at that point. But as the head coach, I'm trying to get my team to win. Yeah, pick that bad boy.
I had two plays I would have ran. I didn't like the person running the sneak. I just thought that again, you're playing against a physical defense, so I just felt like he's too small to kind of get a push. Your best chances are you going B-Rob. I would have had no issue going B-Rob. And also, I don't know why they don't do it anymore, but there's a guy who used to play quarterback who's like 6'7". He plays tight end now. You can run a sneak with Logan Thomas if you want to. And they did that. They used to run that play, or read off. They used to run that play with him with. I want to say when Alex Smith was here, they used to run that play a lot when Logan read option quarterback and with Gibson. But I would have at least had him run the sneak and put Gibson or Thomas in the backfield. Now you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what to do. You don't know if there's going to be a sneak. You don't know it's going to be an option. You don't know what it's going to be. So, but chances are it'll be a sneak. But that's a 6'7" dude that can lean forward like Cam Newton, like we were talking about. So that you can get a push, and you can, what you can do with that is that you can do the push him on the back. You do a sneak and push him on the backside like everybody's doing now with the Logan Thomas to get more momentum. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, there are other players I would have ran in that situation. 4th and goal from the 1, didn't have an issue with it. I even tweeted it, didn't have an issue with it. My issue was that you had the wrong running back running for that 1 yard. That's the issue I had. Like, you got a guy that we've all seen. If you watch every game since this guy has looked healthier, like, he gives you an extra yard just by sheer will. So why would you take that? Why would you give that rock to Gibson? No knock on Gibson. I think Gibson, through his tenure here, has been a good goal line back. But there is a difference of what one guy can do for that 1 yard compared to the other. One is more of a speed finesse back, and the other one is just a bruiser that people don't like tackling. So why would you just go that route?
Yeah, and that's what I said too. I tweeted out on the account. I thought Gibson tried to jump over the pile and got caught. Yeah. I think in that moment, 1 yard, you put your shoulder. We tell running backs, you put your shoulder down and you get the 1 yard. Yeah. You at that point, you're not trying to be a finesse back. You're trying to be a power back. And I totally agree with you. The wrong guy ran the football at that point.
Yeah. So, but you look at the. I mean, like I knew this. Like I said, the Niners were going to take away the run. Like Robinson is physically is only averaged like 2.6 yards a carry. Like this is something.
22 touches, man.
Yeah, like you knew this was going to happen. Like that's why I'm like leaning on Taylor Heineke. This is going to be the game for him. But I want to get into some positives. I'm being a little negative. I want to get into some positives. I'm start with you, DH. What are some of your positives in this game?
The bus made it to the stadium. No, my positives.
What's up, George?
The team showed a little bit of resiliency, and the team showed they had quick strike ability. Yeah, we need to try to get that done more often. But I mean, that night was it? It was just a ridiculous drive. I mean, with Terry, going up making the grab, and I mean, they proved that they can score and they can get the ball down the field. It's just trying to get that get that consistently. Consistently.
Consistently. You're right, bro. Yeah. Don't come on now. Don't show change
I
yourself.
know. I was like, that's right. I feel like they perform better when their back is against the wall.
Definitely.
Like when they don't have to think about it, they perform better. I will say this: the defense played well in spurts. Okay,
yes, in spurts.
They played well in spurts. The defensive line is aggressive. They get their hands up when the ball is coming because those passing lanes. And I'll say another positive thing was Chase Young, man.
Oh my God, I agree.
Field. He was running around there. You could tell he was like a new puppy, bro. Like,
yes, man. You can tell. Yeah.
So I was just excited for him to be out there and get his hands on the ball. But all in all, I mean, minus the score, I think they do have a couple positives that they can build on, but they still got a lot of work to do.
I agree. I think for me, my positives, and I'm gonna get to you, Glenn. It's Jahan Dotson. I think he's getting better. I mean, getting healthier. He's a dog, man. He's a dog. Chase look good. I won't even lie. I've been scared for Chase in terms of that knee and not the ACL. I'm not saying that he's the same Chase, but the energy's there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me like him, that play on the backside when he chased down Christian McCaffrey. It's something about the way he just tackled somebody. It looks mean. Like he got mean. He got angry. Yes, it's angry intentions. I know people call him a predator, but it actually fits. Like he has that predator vibe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna give him props. Like Chase deserves some flowers. Like, you're going through that type of injury, and to come in this game where I would argue to say we're better off playing against, the Giants, the offensive line, and playing against like this offensive line with you going against, Trent, and he made Trent work. Out on one play, he had Trent stumbling. So I was like, okay, Chase, okay, I see you. So I'm gonna give Chase deserves some flowers. I'm gonna piss off the Heineke hive. I thought Carson Wentz looked good coming to playing. I thought he looked good. I know the Heineke folks don't want to hear it, but he looked good. Carson was quick.
They'll be all right.
Yeah, he was quick. He was decisive. He made, you know what I mean? Like, and you could say, people want to say garbage time, but now when he came in, the Niners were blitzing. They came in, they said, okay, you're in, we're going to blitz you. And he was getting the ball out quick. He found Logan. He found Jahan. And he hit that touchdown pass to Curtis Samuel. I know fans are going to be like, what are you going to do with Scary Terry? Like, are you going to start connecting with him early? Because that was the issue with Carson, right? He didn't connect with Terry McLaurin enough while he was here, but while he was starting. But I do think that he got the ball out quick, and it may have done him some justice just to sit back and review the playbook so he could become a better quarterback. So to me, those are my positives. Glenn?
Now, I'll get this one out the way first. I'm not a big Chase Young fan, so I'm going to go ahead and say today he played well.
Yeah.
Right. For him to come back, he brought some excitement and enthusiasm to this team. I think he did well there. Second thing is when you brought up my point that I was going to bring up, Carson Wentz when he came in, getting the ball out quick, made some good decisions, was finding the players he needed. And again, there he was catching the football. I think this is the type of season, down the stretch, I think the Washington Commanders need a Carson Wentz over a Taylor Heineke. With the next two games that they are playing, they play the Cleveland Browns. Then they play the Cowboys. And I think a Carson Wentz, who's been in this atmosphere, big-time football, does well. And here's the key. This team has a running game now with Carson Wentz. They didn't have a running game with Carson Wentz. And we know when Carson Wentz was at his top in Philadelphia, they had a running game, and the play action was big for him. So I'm interested to see how Carson Wentz plays a full game with a Brian Robinson. He didn't have Brian Robinson when he came. When
a healthy Brian Robinson. He didn't have a healthy. He
got him back to Chicago game, which he got hurt. Right. So now he has a healthy Brian Robinson, and so it'd be willing to see how the play calling and what can happen with this Washington Commanders offense going down the stretch. Taylor Heineke did serve this team well, and for this period, and I don't think we see him anymore in the Washington Commanders uniform unless somebody get hurt. That's just me. All right. Other thing that I thought, other thing I thought was well too, though. We talk about it, we knock it out, but they were 2 for 3 in the red zone.
They were. They were.
They were 2 for 3 in the red zone. I knocked them. I didn't knock them, but I thought the play call was just a little bit better. Even though Heineke was late on that one play pass, and he
had Dotson open. He had Dotson open.
Watching the play, and I called Dotson open in the middle.
Me too. Hey, DH, I did too. I said Dotson open early, And then he went to, and I was like, what is he waiting on? But luckily he found Scary on a harder pass.
Yeah,
It's all good.
It's
Scary
scary
got a touchdown.
out.
It's great.
And the other thing that was good, which was probably just because it was a long drive, they were 50% on third down conversion. So I thought that was a good day for them as well. So
all right, so some of the negatives that stand out to you. I mean, we talked about, but the ones that really stand out to you. So DH, I'm gonna start with you.
Okay, here's my thing, man. If y'all listen to Breaking Command, I always say this one thing. You must value the football. And that's the one thing that Taylor does not do. He's shown throughout his tenure here that he does not value the football. Now, the fumble, I can't fault him for that because he has to have pocket. But however, he does have to have pocket presence. I would like for him to eat that. Okay. But that O-line has to be better. That O-line has to protect this blind side. And I can't really dog him for that. Some of these fumbles, like the fumble with Kayvon Thibodeau last week, I can't fault him for that one. But the fumble trying to slide forward, he got to protect the football. Him throwing that bad play with the receiver 5 yards in front of you. You can't have that. I mean, that's the problem that I have, right? Okay, take away the fumble. That's not on him. But that bad pass, you can't have it. And you can't be the starter, giving away the football like that in a clutch situation, trying to come back in the game. And I think what he does, even if it's his fault or not his fault, all his stuff is compounded into one section of the game where he's bad in one section of the game, and it looks even worse.
That could change the game.
Exactly. His turnovers and his not valuing of the football is a momentum swing. That's the negative piece for me. And that's the thing that I really, as a fan, I really hate and I can't deal with because it's just back to back. Those are 2 drives where we needed to get back in the game and we couldn't. We lost the football. So I think I wish it would have probably happened sooner, but I mean, you really ain't had no validity to pull him earlier than that. But it happened, and I think it'll probably be for the betterment of the team going forward.
Yeah, man. King Rashawn says Washington are underachievers. I think to a certain extent, I kind of agree with the roster. I think Washington should be better than this. Hey, Glenn, your negatives.
Oh man, negative here. One of the key negative, and we talked about it, was just the play calling in key situations. Sometimes still the same, right? I know what he was trying. I know what Scott Turner was trying to do, and I'm not knocking trying to establish the run early, but it's 2nd and 9, right? It's 2nd and 9. You're in a different situation here, right? That's a passing down. That is not a running down. That's not a zone read. This is the zone read, but this is not a zone read with Taylor Heinicke situation, and you lose 3 yards, right?
Oh, the run. Oh, the zone read run.
Yeah, the zone rerun. Yeah. That's not it. That's not the guy who does that, right? You talk about negative. That to me was a negative.
No. You're right. No, you're right. It's a bad
those are negative things. We talk about with this San Francisco team. You're supposed to go downhill, north and south, not lateral. Anytime running backs are going lateral and runners are going lateral, defense wins. You have to go north and south. So anything that he calls lateral was bad for this team. The other negative that I had for this team, and it's so, I go back to Ron Rivera because it was too early for the onside kick. It was 5 minutes and 51 seconds left. Defense is playing well. You got 2 timeouts, right? Try to pin them deep. Try to go 3 and out. To me, it was too, because you're down. You're already down. You're down 2 scores.
Yeah. I get you. I mean, I know why he did it. I know
why he did it. But again, it goes back to trusting your defense.
Oh, I ain't trusting that defense.
No, because you gotta understand the situation.
I don't get you. No, I get you.
The situation at 5:51, the 49ers are going to do nothing but run the football.
Yes, this is true.
5:41, they're going to do nothing but run the football. So you get 4 stops because Shanahan's trying to get out of there. So to me, it was a negative. Kick the ball deep and then let it go from that way.
I think I just wanted a better onside kick.
Yeah, that was trash. I don't know what that was.
Kick the ball directly in somebody's face mask. Okay, kick it right in the face.
The rules have changed. It's hard to do onside kicks in the league now.
Yeah, but he didn't. But that was like a 3-yard kick though.
And he went fake to the right, and then scooped it back left, and the ball.
It's harder. It's definitely harder. But I just need you not to be 3 yards though. That's all I'm saying. I just need it not to be 3 yards.
No, you got to realize -2 because you got a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, that's true. That did too. But I just need you to at least come on, man. Try to hit a body. or do something. That's all I'm asking for. Like like
Get
a real attempt.
Get a big
That's
hop.
all.
Let
Yeah,
somebody
just something, man. Like that was atrocious. That's one of the worst onside kicks I've seen in my life.
Onside kicks, you can't do hops in the NFL.
You can do hops.
You can hop the ball, but you can't.
You can hop it. You just can't rush it. You gotta wait. You gotta wait to rush it. You can do hops.
Get that ball up on one big bounce and let your guys go up and
bounce. You just can't. You gotta wait. Like you gotta wait now. You can't form that wall. You can't do that thing.
The wall. You can't attack it. Why?
But you can. So anyway, these are my negatives. Like my negatives. One, something that we had in the beginning of the season, and just kind of tends to still happen. These explosive plays that the defense gives up, like McLeod. McLeod had the 71-yard run. You had Kittle. Everything was a big play for Kittle. Everything was like a atrocious, like 30, 50 plus yard reception. And then Brandon Ayuk had like a 54-yard reception. You're giving up explosive plays. And I guess a negative would be like the play of Benjamin St. Juice, because maybe he should have just waited this one out. Because I don't know, the ankle sprain wasn't right for him, because he was getting torched. And I know this team has made us fans full-time delusional. I'm with you, homie.
Yeah.
But I'm serious. Like serious, he may have had to sit this one out, because this wasn't a good look. If I'm St. Juice and I'm like, I'm going IG live, I'm doing all these Instagram stuff, showing out. I'm hiding. What's that Homer Simpson meme? Like that when he like fade back. Like I'm gonna need him to fade back.
Yo,
this wasn't the one. Christmas Eve. If I'm your homie, bruh, like
he couldn't make tackles, dog. St. Juice, he couldn't make tackles. He couldn't run.
Dude, he couldn't make tackles. He couldn't cover. Like he couldn't do. Like Brandon Ayuk hit him with a simple joint and he had him going. Like I'm uphold you on. I'm gonna just say that was the injury. You ain't 100%. That's what I'm gonna say.
On big plays all year, their tackling has been poor.
Yes, it has been.
It's like I don't know what they see. And then that one, the one I think it was the Ayuk. No, it was the Ray McLeod play.
Oh my God, yeah.
Defo came downfield and just took a terrible
angle. I knew he was gone. As soon as I knew he was gone. I was like,
I knew he was gone.
And then he came upfield, got stuck behind the LB and couldn't get to the sideline where he needed to be. And I'm just like, I mean, you hope that comes with time, that knowledge of that, but it's like, bruh, like you just can't have it. And if in those big plays, you take away from any consistency that you've built up, because the defense actually wasn't playing too bad.
It's the big plays. They were just giving up big plays.
Big plays. And when you have them, those are demoralizing plays that kind of slap you in the face, and then you got to do it all over again.
Right. And
why was Mayo Brian?
Because everybody hurt.
Why was Mayo in the play? Because everybody's hurt. I ain't gonna lie to you. I almost like Mayo more like Bostic. And I know that's messed up to say, because that's how bad Bostic looked in New York. It's wild. I go back and forth with Bostic and Mayo. Because there's certain games I'm like, Bostic better than Mayo. And then now, like a game like this, I'm like, I don't know. After the Giants game, I was like, I don't know. Maybe Mayo's better than Bostic.
Yeah, we talk explosive plays. I'll go negative. I got one more negative, and we say it all the time. Kick returner, punt returner. Can we find somebody else, dog?
Look, man, I'm over talking about Dax Milne. I'm talking about him.
Look, I've only been on the show one time. We're talking about Dax Milne, okay?
We can talk about Dax because
I can't talk about him no more, because I'm not getting any change. Because I feel like it should have been happening. So it's like, why should I waste my energy talking about this dude? We're not going to make this change.
My thing is this: why do you catch the ball in the end zone, and then you get to the 19-yard line? Just fair catch that bad boy in the end zone and get to the 25.
Especially when you Dax Milne. Right. Especially when you that dude, when you him.
I feel like they have gave him specific instructions to just field the punt.
Exactly.
Wherever you are. Because it was a play last week where he fielded the punt and it was like nobody 12 yards away from him. That was it. And I'm like, bruh, really? I'm like, I need somebody. And I think, and I mentioned this on the show, that I'm almost to the point where I want somebody where they might catch it and go for a touchdown, or they might fumble it. I'm almost at that point. Like, I need some explosive. Like, I need, because like you would get that sometimes with Deshaun Jackson, right? He'll catch a punt and he'll run around. Sometimes he might not hold on to the football, but you got that option of him taking it to the crib. And I say that tongue in cheek. But I mean,
you're saying it for real. Don't worry about it. I'm with
you. But no, I get it. You want somebody that can field the punt, but you also need somebody that can be a weapon for you back there.
But this is the problem. This is my problem, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you speak on it too. But my issue with it is that your offense doesn't score enough for you to think that way. You know what I mean? To be conservative with points. So if you got a dude like, I don't care, like Antonio Gibson, you don't trust him with punts. Forget that. You better start trusting him with punts because you know if he touches the ball just off kickoff returns alone, you've seen that he gives you good field position. So when you got a guy in that's who's not giving you anything, okay, if his claim to fame is he can catch the ball, you have a low bar of your players, dude. Like real talk, you can catch a punt. Like you really think low of your players that, okay, that's the only one that I trust not to muff a punt. Are we doing this for real? Like really? Like it used to be back in the days, you want your punt returner to be explosive, to be a guy who had quicks, who was able to take it all the way. Not because he can catch the ball.
Even if certain, you remember how back in the day Santana would come in situationally.
Yes, you can do that with Curtis Samuel.
So something, bro, like
even
if you switch it up like a situational time in the game when you need a turn, somebody that can catch it and just give you an explosive play. Every time with Dax Milne, there's never an explosive play. It's always just catch the punt. That's it.
I'm with you, bro.
I
totally agree with you. And I go back to about 8-9 years ago, we had a kid in high school like that. We didn't have a kick returner. Didn't have a kid. Hey, we just asked him to do me a favor. Just catch the punt. It was a dude, but he was 5'4", but he could catch the punt. And I think that's where Washington is at. They just want the ball. They just want the ball. Just don't muff it. Give us the ball, and we'll let the offense go down. But I agree with DH. At that point in time, you got to put in a Curtis Samuel. Dahami Brown.
Dahami Brown.
That's what I'm saying. 3 years at Carolina. I just seen it for 3 years at Carolina.
I know. Like this is
4.3,
4.4 speed, and you won't even utilize him on kickoff returns. Hey, but you want to be a gunner. You know what I mean? Like
criminal, man.
Percy
Butler, who's sub 4.4 speed.
Yeah, like
anybody,
bro. Like
insert somebody, right? You should be having a jug machine at practice, or Trustway just kicking at practice. Like, okay, who wants this?
But see, Glenn, I would agree. I'll be with you, right? If you get a kid, like if you have a good offense, you be like, yeah, man, yeah. I just want a kid who can catch the ball. Like I just want somebody to just catch the ball. We good. We gonna score. When your offense gets you like 12, 14 points, like nah, bro. I need a dude who give me some points.
And that's the point. We don't score enough to be comfortable.
Yes, that's my point. Yeah,
we need to be aggressive in a lot of these situations if you want to get some of those plays you didn't account for. That's why when the defense scores, it's great because that's one more opportunity for us to get over the 20 point threshold.
Agree,
bro.
On special teams, you need a play.
Agree.
You need a special team play. I mean, you do need that, and they're not getting that. They're not getting that. It could be when the last time Washington blocked the punt.
Won't do anything, man. We never do that type stuff.
You're not getting that from special teams, and it should be an opportunity for you to gain yards, even if San Francisco to kick from the 1-yard line or the 10-yard line, right?
Yeah.
And they had them backed up. If they're punting it off a good 55-yard punt, you get the ball on your side of the ball because he ain't gonna return the ball.
I just don't get that. I don't get that dude. I don't get number 15. I don't understand Ron Rivera with number 15. All right, but so obviously we talked about a little bit, but Carson Wentz comes in for Taylor Heineke. There's a game next week in FedEx, Cleveland Browns. Do you expect Carson Wentz to be the starting quarterback next week?
Yeah, they mentioned in the group chat, so we got to have a discussion about next week. No, we don't. No, the Heineke experience is over for me, or the Heineke experiment is over for me.
Yes,
I'm okay with if he doesn't suit up for us again, and that's no shade to him. It's just I'm over it. I've seen enough. I've seen 2 seasons worth of him playing to know that he's not the guy that can get it done. I'd rather risk it on Wentz or Howell to see what they have, to see what they can do. Because I mean, I'm over the Heineke. I think this was the out, right?
Yeah.
I mentioned on the show. I say he is the only person that can keep himself on this roster and keep himself in the league. And if he continues to play like the way he's played, he's gonna play himself right out of the league. He'll be a good backup. But if you have to see him for an extended period of time, it's not the move. So I'm perfectly fine with Wentz starting next week. And even still, they say that, you can't get wildly pipped. You ain't supposed to lose your job, after you get hurt. I mean, yeah, he needs to come back. I mean, he's healthy. He's available. And with him back in a run game, you now have the big play, over-the-top ability by keeping him in the game now with a solid run game. So, yes, to answer your question in a long-winded way, I'm perfectly fine with Wentz starting the rest of the way.
Hey, Glenn, man.
If they say, I like to. If they say numbers don't lie, I'm gonna give you some numbers real quick. Taylor Heineke for first 3.5 quarters, 13 for 18 for 166, right?
Yep.
2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Carson Wentz, for less than a quarter and a half. 12 for 16, 123. No, one touchdown, no interceptions.
Rating 117.5. Heineke's rating was 114.6.
And the biggest one there, no sacks, even though the offense gave up 2, and he didn't really have to move around at the pocket as much. Again, see him, he's healthy. I think you made a point, Wole, at the beginning of the game, beginning of this podcast. He had time to study the playbook. He has time to study and look, and he had time to realize, okay, what works for him. And so now, hey, if you're Scott Turner, you're auditioning for a head coaching job in the NFL, open up the playbook. Y'all, you know I'm telling the truth to that bad boy. When at the end of the season, he's gonna apply for every job that's open. He's not spending a lot. And Ron,
I apply for jobs too. I'll be getting them though.
Right. And Ron Rivera,
indeed.
If Ron Rivera is smart, he will help him apply for other jobs.
His LinkedIn profile will say mid-level offensive coordinator. And look, and he posts on his LinkedIn like this.
LinkedIn, yeah.
Right? He take Taylor Heinicke with him when he leaves town.
Yeah, there you go. Bringing in a quarterback with no arm but with a lot of heart.
Moxie.
I'm bringing it.
2-for-1 deal. Play a coach.
2-for-1 deal, exactly.
Bro, last week hearing Collinsworth talk about Heinicke, I'm like, bro, you haven't watched any of the games.
Obviously.
You know,
something about him. There's something about him. He kept saying it.
That pixie dust. I'm like, boy, if you don't get your researchers to watch more games for you.
Yeah. All he kept saying, there's something about him. There's something about him.
I think I put in the group chat today watching the Minnesota Viking game. Could you imagine this team with
Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins?
Yep. O'Connell, Cousins, Terry McLaurin, and the offense that they have now.
Yeah, man.
This year was the first time, and I'll honestly admit this, okay, on the show. This was the first time that I ever missed Kirk Cousins. I promise you, because
I don't really be caring about Kirk. I'm saying
I could care less. But if that would have been the alternative to what we have now, I'd have been more than happy.
I agree. I feel like I need to apologize to Kirk. For me, like, for Carson, I'm actually happy. I'm smiling. Like, actually, I'm cheesed. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, the honey you have, I just want to say something to you, man. Like, you got your opportunity. Now it's over. Ha ha ha. Just want to keep it a buck. Now you can do whatever you want to me. You know it's over now. You know it's over now. Like, you know it's over. All your little stats that you want to show me, all that good stuff you want to show me, like the wins. You know what I mean? Because he led us to victory. He led us to victory, not the team. I mean, what is that now? They went with the other guy. They went with the toy. They went with the other toy. I'm sorry.
That dude got his prayers answered, right? Heinicke has gotten. Think about the Indianapolis prayers were answered, right?
Yes, they were answered.
How many games was prayers answered? Matter of fact, today prayers were answered.
They dropped them. Yeah, they dropped a couple of them. Yeah,
they dropped a couple today.
They dropped a couple today. Yep, sure did.
Prayers were answered. This guy has to be because he should have thrown at least 15 picks this season.
Yeah,
man. God was working overtime for Heinicke, bro.
I know he was, man. He was.
Overtime,
man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just be ready when Kirk and the Vikings claim the drain in the first round of the playoffs. Circle the drain. Circle the drain. Excuse me. Circle the drain in the first
gritty
round.
Down the drain. He gonna gritty down.
Yeah, he gonna gritty down the drain. Hey, man. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I would love. So if I just think about this. Washington Commanders fans, just think about this. Carson Wentz leads this team to the postseason, right? And then plays Kirk Cousins in the first round of the playoffs. That would be freaking amazing. You know what I mean? And then we would all, just like I had to cheer for Heinicke, you Heinicke high folks would have to cheer for Carson Wentz. Like, we would all cheer for Carson Wentz. Like, I cheered for Heinicke. You saw my tweets. I'm like, Heinicke balling. Do I think Heinicke's good? No, I don't. But I was like, he's balling. And I was for it, you know what I'm saying? But now what you're gonna have to do is do the same thing. I want that same energy. So when Carson Wentz just throws the ball up and somebody just magically catches the ball, I don't want it to say like, "Oh man, Scary made the play." No, I want to say that Carson threw a great pass to Scary. I want all that. I want that same energy. That's what I want from you all. I want the same. So when Jahan Donnelly catches a slant pass and it takes to the house, I want you to say, man, I want you to say that was all Jahan. No, I want you to say that was a great slant pass by Carson Wentz and made Jahan take it to the house. I want all of that. All right. So all the people who I know are part of the Carson Hive, I'm going to be on Twitter. And I'm going to be looking at each comment. I'm going to your tweet history. I'm looking at it. I'm going to watch the game, and I want to see you second by second. I want to see what you're saying about Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? I want it all. That's all I want to say.
It's crazy because I told you I've tried to be over complimentary of Taylor Heineke because I didn't want to look like I'm just being a hater, right? Yeah, so I would go in when he and this was true when he have a great, like he had a couple great throws today.
Yeah, me too. I was like,
great throws, and I will give him that. But when you have the bad ones, I'm going to tell you that you had a bad throw and you made some bad plays. And what he does is that for every good throw, he has like 2 or 3 bad ones that you want to take back. Yeah. And my thing is, a lot of people with the Heineke Hive is that they just casually forget all those, and they just remember that he's been making these awesome throws, these underthrows that their receivers can go and fight for, right? Like, I mean, it's a lot of plays here and there, and I don't want to say like I'm piling on, but I mean, I'm just glad it's over. I want the season to finish the way it's supposed to start it, with Wentz at the helm, you know what I'm saying? And I want to see what he can do with a different style of offense, and with and essentially
more knowledge
on the line. Yeah,
and more knowledge too, and more knowledge just by sitting and learning. I mean, like we asked this dude, this is not his offense. He has I mean, like I said, and this is not gonna be a Carson Heineke debate, but I'm saying like Heineke has been this offense since like forever. This is the only thing he knows. So if you really want to break it down, like Carson's been the same way. He's been the same offense throughout in Philadelphia and Indy. It's the same offense, the same exact offense.
Yeah.
So now he's coming here with a different offense. So it's going to take him time to learn it. So hopefully by sitting and watching, it's like treating a rookie, right? You want a rookie to sit and watch, like sitting and watching. You hope he picks certain things up, and now is more comfortable with the playbook. That's what you hope. And if that's the case, if he is getting better, if we've seen Carson at his best when he's comfortable, if he is comfortable and he knows the playbook, I will take that Carson Wentz over Taylor Heineke any day of the week.
And then all his weapons are healthy. Yes. All his weapons are healthy, right? Everybody's healthy, right? And I think that's the key there too with Carson for this stretch. Everybody's healthy. The comparison to Heineke is limited. It is what it is. It's just you got to understand he is limited. So does he bring the guys who want to play for him? Yes. Is he a better leader than probably Carson? Sure. The people love him. They love his heart. They love his enthusiasm. The team rallies behind him. They play hard for him. That's 100% yes, right? But at the end of the day, you want the best 11 guys on the field. You want the best 11 guys on the field. If he's not one of the best 11, which was proven because he got yanked, right? Then you go next man up. And next man up is Carson Wentz. And the team still has the opportunity to get in the playoffs. So you don't go Sam Howell. You go to the guy and let him do what he does and try to get this team into the playoffs.
Wally, halfway through Heineke starts, when he started making some of the throws, I just got taken back to your meme, with the Kobe meme, where you just
oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And bro, it literally like as Glenn was talking, it popped into my head. And I was like,
you know what, I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna post my Kobe meme. I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna post my Kobe meme. My rendition of the Kobe meme. But I'm just saying, like, that's what it is. I agree with Glenn. Like, everything is just like, yo, like, he wasn't a better quarterback. So this is now we're going back to this. We're going back to Carson. But I mean, look,
your season is on the line. Literally on the line. Like, nothing is locked in just because everybody else lost. Like, you still have to win these next 2 games.
Yeah, you got to win your next 2 games. And if you watch what Cleveland did today, they didn't look spectacular. I mean, I know the weather was kind of jacked up, but they didn't look good. And I said prior on our show, like, Glenn, that Deshaun Watson was looking better game by game, but today he ain't looked that great, to be honest with you. So there's an opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Also, they Cleveland is maphematically eliminated.
Eliminated too, yeah. So that may
so you don't know what they'll change some things. You don't know what they're going to play next week.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Phil, I believe, and don't want them to what's the word? Don't want them to slowly get into playoffs, back into the playoffs, but you want them to go in winning. But Philadelphia could actually they took not Philadelphia. Detroit took a step back today, right?
They need to keep losing though.
And Seattle took a step back.
Yeah.
The opportunity for this team. You never know what happens next week. This team gets to win, and there's mathematical situations that
it changes. It changes. Like they got an opportunity. Like the schedule for these certain teams are struggling. The Lions with this loss has kind of hindered them because of their games. This is one of the easier games they had left. This Panthers game.
And you got to watch Green Bay coming up behind them. Green Bay is 6-8. They play Miami tomorrow. They can go to 7-8 if they get a win, and they'll be locked. They'll be locked with Seattle and Detroit and still in the hunt.
Yeah, exactly. And but Washington has the tiebreaker over Green Bay, which helps them out. So there's some games that now, like, their other teams are battling each other. Now it's up to Washington to win games. Like this Cleveland game is essential. Like they got to win this Cleveland game. But yeah, so I agree. Like you got to have Carson for these games, man, especially what some of these teams are gonna, bring to the table. You know what I mean? Like I think you have to have Carson. But I think if you lose this Cleveland game, you gotta start Sam Howell against the Cowboys. I'll say it. I don't care. I mean, just to do it, because season's over to me. I don't care.
If Philadelphia loses another one, you're looking at a Cowboys team who can actually take over the win in NFC East.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
And the final game of the season.
Yeah, so that game is not.
There is no like this is a must win. If there ever was a must win in the season, this is a must win because even if the last week of the season it doesn't go your way, you may have enough wins at that point to lock in something.
So true, factual. Hey, we're about to wrap this show up. DH, before we end it, man, let our listeners know what you have coming down the pike and also how they can catch you on social media.
Hey man, every week D Mitty and myself record Breaking Command podcast where we preview the upcoming game and review the last week's game. Have a lot of fun in between. Most recent episode we had Mike Callow on there from ESPN 630. That was a fun show. So y'all make sure y'all go check it out. That's Breaking Command on YouTube, and of course you can find me everywhere on Twitter at DH_MVJOR, where it's always a fun time. Come link with me.
Hey man, appreciate you, DH, man. You're the homie. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the homie Doug for being on too as well. Hey, you can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search all Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything and like our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page as well. Don't forget to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Errrything YouTube channel as well. Hey, this has been a dope show. Appreciate everybody for being on. Always appreciate the homie Glenn, my co-host, for being on. You know what I'm saying? Every Commanders post game, pretty much, man. He's the real MVP. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, everybody, be easy. Merry Christmas Eve and Merry Christmas to you for tomorrow.